All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Hexbug JunkBots Sage from the Alley collection. The Alley collection is basically, JunkBots Series 1, and the Factory collection is their Series 2. And yeah, here we have Sage. I think that Sage is one of the ones that does have an alternate version in the Factory collection. I don't have that version. I only have the original one. But yeah, he's a really nice little JunkBot. I think that one of the things I really like about Sage in particular is that he has just so many different identifiable parts because, that's kind of the whole fun of these guys is when they're these little robots that are like built out of recognizable objects, whereas some of them tend to just be made out of like a bunch of abstract machinery. Whereas if you look at one like Sage, he's got a lot of like household objects that you can actually pick out. His main body here is a little, I guess it would be a grandfather clock. I don't know. Is the grandfather clock just the really, really tall one? It's some kind of clock. I don't know if it could count as a grandfather clock or not, but it's got some nice painted detail on there and some kind of hard to see, but on the clear section bit in the middle there are some like sculpted gears on there, which looks pretty cool. For his he's got a little beard here, and the beard is actually made out of like a bathroom scale. So you can see his little mouth is like, where it would actually read the weight, and then you can see there's a little tiny footprints that are kind of sculpted on the side here. That's really cool. I like that a lot. He's got the same head as Axel did, the Axel build, but he's got a pair of kind of like glasses sticking out on the front of it, which might be handcuffs or something. I don't know. It might just be a machine part, but looks pretty good. And then obviously he's got a little traffic cone here as a hat, so he kind of looks like a bit more of a wizard. I think that's really cool. He's got a little additional clock on his arm here, and then the rest of his arm is just kind of, generic machine parts. Same with the other arm. But with his staff here, he's got a little lamp post. That's pretty cool. It has this neat gear piece too. I've gotten a few of these pieces, and I didn't realize that these were kind of designed to go with like this gear piece where you actually like screw them into each other. It kind of gets stuck at a certain point, but still, that's pretty cool. And then I think that this boot is just kind of a machine part. It doesn't really look like it's meant to be a proper boot, but maybe, I don't know. And then he's got a little bunny slipper for his other foot. Very cool. I've seen that part before, but I think I've only seen the factory collection version of it that is that's blue rather than little pink here. But yeah, he's got a really nice build. Here is little instruction sheet, so you can see his little build there, and then how to put all the pieces together. He's in terms of articulation. I mean, obviously with JunkBots, it's a lot of ball joints, but you can move his arms around. This one arm, because of the way it's attached, can't really. It's like permanently in this bent elbow pose. You can kind of like rotate it up like that, but you're not really bending or unbending the elbow more than it currently is bent. Whereas this one you can move it around. Obviously, both of his legs. He doesn't really have knees, but you can kind of wiggle his legs around. And then his head. You only get about that much movement before the little beard piece kind of bumps into the clock. So, pretty typical stuff for JunkBots, nothing too crazy, but also, you can move stuff around a little bit to kind of give a bit of variance in the poses. Mostly you're just kind of like moving his arms around. You can actually get him standing, so he's holding up his staff too, which I think is cool. What I like about him, and maybe it's just because I haven't had him as long, so the joints haven't really loosened up yet, but he's very solid. Some of them tend to be a little bit difficult to stand, and just by virtue of the fact that he's got such short, kind of stumpy legs that don't have that many parts to them, and he also has this staff, which can kind of act as like a third support leg. He really does stand up pretty easily and doesn't have too many problems staying that way, which is nice. In terms of his functionality with our different modules here, we can start off with the vibration module, which I can't imagine will do anything all that exciting, but it's an option here. Okay, let's get him standing. Yeah, he's, he's walking around a little bit. not wholly dramatic, but the vibration module doesn't do that many exciting things to begin with. Let's use the motor module here, and this is pretty cool, I think, and it does pretty much exactly what you'd expect it to with this kind of body type. Is makes the little Would you still call that a metronome? I don't know, but it's going way too fast. So maybe Sage is doing some kind of time travel or something, although the hands on the clock, of course, don't change. But still, pretty cool. I think that works well. And then in terms of the LED module, there's a few different places you can plug it. If you plug it into this hole on the body here, it'll make this section kind of shine up. So we'll do that. Well, where else can you put it? He only has one hole in the body. It looks like, oh, there's another hole on the side. So maybe we could do that. And then obviously you can wrap it around so his little staff lights up as well. So is there another hole on the other side of the body? No? Okay. So let's get the third one over here. See what that looks like. Yeah, that works pretty well. I mean, it doesn't really show off the gears a whole lot more when this is lit up, but I think having the little lamp post lit up, I think, is pretty cool. And yeah, I'd say that would be a nice little display on the shelf there. But yeah, so, you know, he's pretty decent with the modules. Doesn't do anything like superbly exciting, but he is pretty adequate with all three of them. Even the little vibration modules seem to, you know, I mean, it didn't do anything that exciting, but with some of them, it just straight up makes them fall apart or fall over. So at least it didn't do that. In terms of size comparisons, for Transformer stuff, here he is with a core class Transformer and a G1 mini bot. Here he is with a bot. I don't think we've gotten a grandfather clock bot. Maybe I'm just misremembering. So I think he's the closest, but you know, still they look cool together. And then here he is with Jack Static, the kind of, you know, main character of the JunkBots here. And Sage actually was one of the ones that showed up in the little JunkBots cartoon as well, which is why I think all the ones that show up in the little cartoon, except for Prowler maybe, are the ones that got the alternate color schemes in the factory collection. So that's why he did. And he was, you know, he was cool. He was kind of a, as you'd expect, kind of like a senile old man, you know, Sage figure, as you'd expect, because that's his name. But yeah, they look pretty good together. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. Honestly, is a pretty good little JunkBot. Definitely, I think, up there as in terms of one of my favorites. Just very, very adequate. You know, with these guys, it's either been, for me, it's been a keep, scrap, or edit. And for him, he's a total keep. I think I like this parts orientation a lot. There isn't really much I'd actually change about it. Some of these parts, you know, if I ever got a repeat Sage, some of these parts I think would be fun to use in different ways, like the traffic cone or the grandfather clock. I've gotten another one that uses the little, you know, foot, the little foot scale there. And it's a cool little part. It is one of the ones that, you know, pegs in with the kind of like teeny tiny pegs, which have a bit of variance in terms of how well they actually peg into different parts. Thankfully for him, it seems to stay in pretty well. But, you know, it does make it a bit of a challenge to use in some other orientations. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to them. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have I almost said Transformers, and then I almost said BotBots, neither of which, Hexbug JunkBots Sage from the Alley collection.